Are you grooming him? Okay.
When Wilbur first joined our family, Charlie was a bit shy around him, but Wilbur, with his calm and patient nature, quickly helped Charlie warm up to him. At first, Wilbur seemed to keep his distance, but within weeks, he developed an incredible bond with Charlie. Every morning, the slightest sound from Charlie's room was enough to make Wilbur leap out of our bed and rush to his side. Charlie's playmate quickly became Wilbur's favorite spot. The colorful toys and rattles turned into his personal playground. Whenever Charlie lay on the mat, Wilbur would curl up beside him, batting at the toys with his paws. Sometimes, Wilbur would glance at Charlie while playing.
You think I'm cute? Yes or no?
As if seeking his approval. Watching their connection brought us endless joy. One day, we noticed Wilbur carrying Charlie's stuffed duck to his bed. From that moment, the little duck became Wilbur's favorite too. Even when Charlie realized this, he would just laugh, showing how naturally they shared everything. Wilbur didn't stop at toys. He also claimed Charlie's tiny blankets. He would drag them to different corners of the house and curl up on them for naps. Wilbur's fascination with Charlie wasn't limited to playtime. Even during bath time, he would sit by the door, listening to Charlie's sounds. Sometimes we had to shoo him away because he'd try to grab Charlie's bath toys, but his curious behavior never failed to make us smile. Mealtimes were a whole adventure. The moment Charlie sat in his high chair, Wilbur would immediately sit underneath, staring up expectantly. One day, when a piece of carrot puree fell to the floor, Wilbur snatched it up so fast that we couldn't stop laughing. This became such a regular event that we eventually started preparing small snacks for Wilbur during meals. Sometimes, Charlie would laugh at Wilbur's antics.
Coco, when mommy says stop, you say okay.
It's just a baby.
But you still had to say okay, mom.
I'm just a baby.
Or even try to share his food with him. Wilbur's obsession with the stroller was another surprise. Every time we prepared to go out, he would jump into the stroller as if he didn't want to be left behind. Sometimes we let them share the stroller, and it always turned heads. Passers-by often asked, "Are they siblings?" Another funny habit of Wilbur's was his love for Charlie's books. While I read bedtime stories to Charlie, Wilbur would sit beside us, batting at the pages as if trying to turn them himself. Those moments were some of the sweetest scenes in our home. Wilbur and Charlie's unique bond was an unexpected blessing for us. Watching them together didn't just brighten our day. Most people think cats simply curl up in sunny spots and wait to be fed. But Bailey was different from the very beginning. The way he entered my life was anything but ordinary, and it all started in the most unlikely place, my college dorm room. Pets were absolutely forbidden there. Still, when I found this tiny kitten alone and in need, I couldn't walk away. I snuck him in, hoping no one would notice. For a few days, it felt like our little secret, but secrets don't last long. Within a week, I was caught. The administration gave me just 2 days to get rid of him. My heart sank. I was already deeply attached, yet the rules left me with no choice. To make matters worse, my parents, who already had 2 cats and a dog, made it clear I couldn't bring Bailey home. I felt cornered, desperate, and heartbroken. The only option was to find someone else to take him. An elderly woman nearby agreed to give Bailey a chance. I carried him to her house, tears blurring my vision, feeling as though I was leaving behind a piece of myself. I told myself it was for the best, but Bailey had other ideas.
You know God made Bailey. You know that.
When I returned a few weeks later, the woman confessed he had never adjusted. He spent most of his days hiding, quiet and withdrawn, as though he was waiting for someone. She handed him back to me with relief, and in that moment, I knew Bailey had already chosen his family, and it was us. At first, my parents were firm. Bailey could only stay temporarily, but day after day, his unique charm worked its way into their hearts. Soon enough, Bailey wasn't the outsider anymore. He was home. That was over 13 years ago, and he has been with us ever since. The true miracle came later, when my children were born. From the moment we brought our baby daughter home, Bailey transformed. He wasn't just curious, he was protective. He curled up beside her crib, his small head resting against her as though standing guard. Over time, his devotion only grew. He let the girls dress him in doll clothes, rock him in toy chairs, even cover him with necklaces and hats. Most cats would scratch or run away.
Can you say Happy Easter?
Happy Easter! I love you!
Bailey stayed, patient and calm, as if he understood that their play was love. Every morning he joins us in the bathroom, watching our routine as though he's part of it. Every night he follows the children to bed, snuggling close until they fall asleep. Then, once they're safe and dreaming, Bailey pads over to me, as if saying, now it's your turn. Bailey isn't just a pet, he's family. He's proof that sometimes the hardest beginnings lead to the most extraordinary bonds. If this story Isabel was no ordinary cat. From the instant I met her, she ruled the room like a tiny queen, with a crown of soft grey fur. Her golden eyes cut through the air like sunlight on glass, sharp and steady. She didn't wait to be chosen, she chose me. And from that second on, I felt both honored and a little nervous. When Isabel arrived, she was only 8 weeks old, a fragile scrap of life small enough to fit in my palm.
No murder today.
She had been rescued from a freezing alley, her breath thin, her heartbeat faint. I wrapped her in a blanket and prayed she would survive the night. Yet inside that delicate body hid a will of steel. The first time I tried to bathe her, she thrashed and clawed like a wildcat, fighting for her freedom. That was the night I learned this was no ordinary pet. Isabel was a force of nature, fierce and unbreakable. Days turned into weeks. She followed me from room to room like a silent shadow, observing every move. Sometimes she perched high on a bookshelf, golden eyes glowing in the dark, as if she held ancient secrets. I whispered gentle words, but her ears barely twitched. A soft pat often earned me a warning hiss. Friends joked that my house now belonged to the cat, and I was simply her guest. Winter came early that year. I remember one stormy evening when the power failed and the house fell into eerie silence. As I lit candles, Isabel padded close, her fur brushing my arm for the very first time. It lasted only seconds, but it felt like a promise. Even the coldest hearts can begin to thaw when trust takes root. Then my daughter, Tally, was born, and I feared the delicate peace would shatter. Would Isabel see her as a rival? The first days were tense. Isabel would sit stiffly near the cradle, tail flicking with quiet suspicion, her eyes sharp with questions she never asked. I tried to divide my time, slipping her treats and soft words between feedings, hoping jealousy would not take hold. Slowly, a miracle unfolded. One sunny morning, I opened the nursery door and let Isabel step inside on her own terms. She sniffed the blankets, inspected the toys, then leapt onto the rocking chair and settled there like a watchful guardian. From that moment, something changed. Her hiss softened into a curious trill. Tally giggled at the flick of her ears, and a fragile friendship began. As seasons passed, their bond grew deeper. Isabel became Tally's silent protector, watching her crawl across the carpet and sitting patiently as tiny fingers explored her silky coat. When Tally learned to walk, Isabel trotted beside her like a proud older sister. If a door creaked at night, Isabel arrived first, a fearless sentry in a velvet coat. One spring evening, Tally caught a cold and whimpered in her sleep. Isabel leapt onto the bed, curling around her like a living blanket. I stood in the doorway, amazed. The fierce, distant cat, who once trusted no one, was now offering the purest comfort. Later, when Tally woke crying from a nightmare, Isabel nudged her with a gentle paw and stayed until morning. Life brought other changes, new furniture, visiting relatives, the chaos of birthday parties. But Isabel adapted in her own quiet way. She learned which guests deserved a friendly nosebone and which should be ignored. She claimed the highest perch of the bookshelf as her throne, surveying the household with the calm authority of a monarch who knows every sound and scent. One summer afternoon, we ventured into the garden together. Tally chased bubbles across the grass while Isabel prowled through the flowers, her tail a silver plume. A sudden breeze sent petals swirling, and Isabel leapt after them like a dancer, graceful and wild. For a moment, the fierce little kitten and the patient guardian were one and the same, a creature born of freedom and affection. Another evening, a sudden thunderstorm crashed across the sky. The lights flickered, and Tally clung to me. Before I could comfort her, Isabel jumped onto the couch, pressing against my daughter as if to say, "I'm here, don't be afraid." The rumble outside was nothing compared to the steady purr vibrating through the room. It was the sound of trust made real. Today, Isabel is still independent. She will always have the soul of a wild creature, but she has chosen to share her world with us. She spends her evenings stretched by the fire, eyes half closed, purring softly as Tally reads bedtime stories aloud. Every gentle rumble reminds me how powerful patience and kindness can be. Sometimes I think back to that tiny, fragile kitten I feared would never survive.
Oh my gosh. He's been looking for you.
Isabel taught me that love isn't about control. It's about respect and quiet devotion. She isn't just a cat anymore. She is family, a guardian of our home's warmth, and proof that even the most guarded heart can learn to trust. If this story may... From the first moment I met Zeus, I knew life would never be the same. Imagine opening a door and expecting a normal cat, only to find a giant. His black fur seems to swallow the light, his amber eyes calm yet commanding. At nearly 28 pounds, Zeus looks more like a panther than a pet. People freeze at first, whispering, "He's too big. What if he scratches?" But soon they see the truth. Behind that frame lives a gentle giant. Before we go on, hit subscribe to support. Revenues help stray animals. Thanks a lot. Now back to our story. For years, I carried a quiet dream to one day live with a Maine Coon. I had taken in strays, loved every small companion that came into my life. Yet a Maine Coon felt almost mythical, too grand to be real. When my boyfriend once asked about my biggest wish, I didn't mention riches or travel. I simply said, I want a giant Maine Coon. He looked curious, so I showed him photos. Days later, as if fate had been listening, we discovered a breeder in our town who had kittens. The moment I saw a photo of one of them, my heart skipped. Only 4 months old, he already looked extraordinary. Huge paws, a long tail, and golden eyes full of promise. That kitten was Zeus, but I was sick at the time, too weak to go myself. I asked my boyfriend to reserve him. When he returned, I expected just a receipt, not a living miracle. Yet there he was, in his arms, Zeus, fluffy and cautious, but already larger than most cats. In that instant, my recovery truly began. His presence gave me strength, pulling me out of weakness and into hope. Zeus quickly became the heart of my days, calm and endlessly patient. He is happiest lying at our feet or curling up beside us at night. Play lasts only seconds before he drifts back into sleep, but his spirit never fails to warm the room. He never scratches, never bites. Children climb around him, other animals approach without fear, and Zeus accepts them all with quiet dignity. Over time, he became more than a pet. Zeus turned into a symbol, a reminder that even the wildest dreams can come true. Looking at him, I often think, if this dream was possible, what else might be waiting just beyond the horizon? He showed me that sometimes hope doesn't arrive with fanfare. It walks in silently, purring, with oversized paws and eyes full of promise. Visitors still gasp when they see him, unable to believe a house cat could be so large. But soon, they understand what I already know. Behind the massive frame lies a heart even bigger. Zeus isn't just a cat. He is proof that sometimes the most magical dreams curl up beside you and fall asleep. If this story... What if I told you the most reliable alarm clock in the world doesn't beep? It purrs. Every morning, rain or shine, workday or weekend. At exactly 7 a.m., a soft paw taps my cheek. Sometimes it's followed by a tiny nip on the chin. Not painful, just enough to whisper, "Hey, wake up." Life's happening. His name is Milo, and he's not just a cat. He's a metronome in a world that keeps slipping off beat. I adopted Milo during a time when my days were starting to blur. One rolled into the next. Mornings were hard. Nights were restless. But Milo, he arrived with rhythm in his paws. That very first week, he started showing signs of what I now call his mission. Every morning, like clockwork, he'd hop onto the bed and gently coax me out of sleep. No meowing, no scratching, just a tender touch. And on the rare mornings I tried to ignore him, he'd lie beside me, playing with the blanket threads, purring into my collarbone like a living lullaby.
Okay. On the side. Down low. Slow.
But once Milo decides the day has begun, there's no negotiation. He'll sit up tall beside me, tail wrapped neatly, and simply stare. It's the softest kind of command you'll ever experience. Our mornings are now sacred. He follows me to the bathroom, pacing like a tiny bodyguard. While I shower, he waits outside the curtain, never intruding, just present. And when I begin my skincare routine, he's ready. He nudges my cotton pad with his nose. So of course, I wipe his cheeks too. He closes his eyes, rumbles low. Then comes his toothbrush. Yes, Milo has one. And when I pick up mine, he hops up and waits. He watches every motion like I'm preparing for a grand performance. I brush gently and he lets me, like it's our own silent trust exercise. If I forget to brush his thick fur afterward, he'll remind me. He softly grabs my wrist with his paw and pulls it toward him. That's Milo speak for him. Excuse me? I booked a spa session. Breakfast is our next stop. He watches me prep with the eyes of a suspicious chef. You'd think he was judging my seasoning choices. And while he rarely begs, there's always hope in those eyes. A bite might fall, or better yet, be shared on purpose. When I work from home, he becomes my shadow. Not just following, but synchronizing. He sleeps beside my laptop. Curled like a comma in the sentence of my day. Every hour or so, he stretches and nudges my elbow. Not for food, not for fun, just, hey, breathe, you're human, not a machine. Sometimes we walk together. Yes, outdoors. He trots behind me in the garden, or we sit on the balcony just watching the sky. He doesn't ask for much, just space on my lap and a steady hand to stroke his back. And at night, when I read in bed, he arrives like a whisper. He presses his face to my book, gently nudging it away, not forceful, just enough to say, "You've read enough. I'm here now, let's rest." So I put the book down. He curls into the blanket's folds, and in that moment, everything is quiet, whole. Milo isn't just part of my routine, he is the routine. He's my morning breath, my lunch break reminder, my evening sigh. He doesn't just keep time, he gives it meaning. If this story made you I heard the cry before I saw her, a sound so small, so fragile, it almost disappeared into the wind. But something made me stop. Something made me turn around. And there she was, a tiny gray kitten sitting alone in the pouring rain, staring at me like I was her last hope. I was on day 17 of my solo cycling journey across Europe. The rain had been relentless for hours. I just wanted to find shelter and get warm. But then I heard that meow, weak, desperate, cutting through the sound of raindrops. I slammed on my brakes and looked back. She was sitting on the roadside, completely drenched, her fur plastered to her tiny body. No mother cat nearby, no siblings, no shelter, just emptiness stretching in every direction. Cars were speeding past, splashing water everywhere, and she didn't even flinch. She just sat there, looking at me with enormous eyes, waiting. My first thought was logical. I can't take a kitten on a bike trip. I have no supplies, no carrier. I'm traveling through 5 countries. This is impossible. But then she meowed again, softer this time, and I knew I couldn't leave her. I got off my bike, walked over, and the moment I knelt down, she stumbled toward me on shaky legs. She was freezing. I could feel her tiny heart beating frantically against my palm. I unzipped my jacket and tucked her inside against my chest. She immediately stopped shaking and started purring. That sound, that tiny vibration of trust, changed everything. I named her Nala right there on that rainy road. The first challenge was figuring out how to carry her. I had a front handlebar bag for my phone and snacks. I emptied it, lined it with my spare shirt, and gently placed Nala inside. She peeked out, looked around, and then tried to climb out immediately. Within minutes, she had scrambled up to my shoulder and perched there like she'd done it 1,000 times before. And that's where she stayed. At the first town, I stopped at a pet store. The owner stared at me. "You're cycling across Europe with a kitten on your shoulder." I shrugged. "I guess I am now." I bought a small harness, kitten food, a collapsible water bowl, and a tiny blanket. My budget was tight, but Nala needed these things more than I needed a hotel room. Getting her a passport and microchip took 3 days and cost more than I'd planned, but it was worth it. Nala was officially my travel companion now, legal, documented, and ready for the journey ahead. What surprised me most was how quickly she adapted. I thought the noise would terrify her. The traffic, the crowds, the constant movement. But Nala acted like she'd been born for this. She'd sit on my shoulder as I cycled through busy city streets, completely calm, watching everything with curious eyes. Pedestrians would stop and stare. Children would point and laugh. Look, a cat on a bicycle. We developed routines. Every morning I'd say, "Ready to go, Nala," and she'd jump onto the handlebars, waiting for me to start pedaling. At night, she'd curl up in my sleeping bag, purring against my side, keeping me warm. But it wasn't always easy. The worst day came 3 weeks into our journey. Nala stopped eating. She became lethargic, wouldn't play, just lay in the bag looking miserable. I panicked completely. By some miracle, we were near a small town, and right across from where I'd stopped, there was a veterinary clinic. I rushed inside, Nala wrapped in my jacket. The vet examined her immediately and diagnosed a simple stomach infection, treatable, not serious. But I needed to be more careful about what she ate and drank. That moment terrified me. I realized how vulnerable she was, how much responsibility I'd taken on, but it also showed me how much she meant to me. She wasn't just a kitten I'd rescued, she was family. After that, I became obsessive about her care. I made sure she always had clean water. I checked her health every single day. The journey changed after that. I stopped caring about distance or speed or reaching destinations on schedule. What mattered was that Nala was happy and healthy. We'd take long breaks in parks where she could run around safely. She reminded me what traveling was really about. Not checking off places on a list, but experiencing life fully, being present in each moment. Recently, I upgraded my bike with new wheels. I showed them to Nala, half joking, asking what she thought. She studied the wheels carefully, like a true critic, then jumped straight onto the rear rack and sat down. Her way of saying, "Looks good, let's keep going." We still have a long road ahead, more countries to cross, more adventures waiting, but I'm not worried anymore because I'm not traveling alone. I have Nala perched on my shoulder, watching the world with me, reminding me every single day that the best things in life happen when you stop and listen to a tiny voice calling for help in the rain. If this story They called her aggressive, dangerous, unsuitable for adoption. The shelter had already scheduled her euthanasia, but the cat glaring at me from behind the cage bars wasn't aggressive. She was broken, and I was about to find out just how deep that brokenness went. Her name was Barbara, and her story was devastating. After her owner died, she stayed by his body for almost a week before anyone found them. Can you imagine that kind of loyalty, that kind of grief? When the family finally arrived, they couldn't handle her. They said she was too difficult, too much to deal with. So they dumped her at a shelter where she was immediately labeled a problem cat. I learned about Barbara through Beth Stern's rescue program. The moment I saw her photo, I knew something was different. Yes, her ears were flattened back. Yes, her eyes were full of rage. But underneath that fury, I saw something else. Pain, loss, a soul that had been shattered and was desperately trying to protect what little was left. When they brought Barbara to my house, the shelter volunteer looked at me with genuine concern. "Are you sure? She's bitten 3 handlers. She doesn't let anyone near her." I looked at Barbara, hissing and spitting in her carrier, and said yes, I was sure. The first week was terrifying. Barbara refused to come out. She found a gap under the floor in my closet and wedged herself in there. I could hear her sometimes, growling softly, warning me to stay away. Only at night, when the house was completely silent, would she emerge to eat and use the litter box. During the day, she was a ghost. A month passed before I could even touch her. One evening, she was sitting on the windowsill and I slowly reached out my hand. She didn't run, she didn't hiss. She just stared at me with those intense eyes, as if deciding whether I was worth the risk. My fingers barely grazed her head before she swatted at me and disappeared, but it was progress. The attack started around week 6. Barbara would literally chase me around the room, claws out, teeth bared. I had to wear high boots to protect my legs. There were scratches on my arms, bite marks on my hands. Friends told me to give up. "She's dangerous. You're going to get seriously hurt." But I couldn't abandon her. She'd already been abandoned once. Then came that night. It was 3 a.m. and I woke up to a sound I'd never heard from Barbara before. Purring, soft, gentle, continuous purring. I opened my eyes slowly, afraid to break whatever spell had been cast. And there she was, sitting on my bed, right next to me, her nose pressed against my arm, purring like she'd been doing it her whole life. I didn't move. I barely breathed. We stayed like that for almost an hour. And in that silence, something fundamental shifted between us. She had chosen to trust me. After months of fear and anger and pain, she had decided I was safe. That moment changed everything. From that night on, Barbara transformed. The angry, hissing cat disappeared, replaced by the most affectionate creature I've ever known. She follows me everywhere now. If I'm working on my laptop, she's at my feet. If I pick up my phone, she physically pushes it away with her paw, demanding attention. This cat who once hid from me now can't stand to be in a different room. But here's what most people don't understand. Barbara only chooses one person. In her previous life, it was her owner. He had her photos all over his office. She was his universe, and he was hers. When he died, her universe collapsed. Now she's chosen me. Only I can touch her. Only I can sleep with her curled against me. If anyone else tries to approach, the old Barbara returns. Ears back, warning growl. That look that says, stay away. Barbara is 11 years old now. She's elderly, more fragile with each passing day, but she's also become my partner in something bigger. Together, we've helped rescue and rehome over 50 cats. She sits with me when I interview potential adopters. It's like she understands what we're doing, like she wants to help other cats avoid the pain she went through. People ask me all the time how I transformed such an aggressive cat. But I didn't transform Barbara. I just gave her something she desperately needed. Time, space, patience, and the promise that I would never abandon her. No matter how hard things got, she taught me you can't demand love from an animal. You can't force them to heal on your timeline. You have to let them come to you when they're ready. Sometimes I catch Barbara staring at me with this look that's equal parts love and fear, like she's afraid this is all temporary, like she's terrified I might disappear the way her first owner did. And in those moments, I hold her close and whisper that I'm not going anywhere, that she's stuck with me, that this is her forever home, and I am her forever person. If this story makes...
What are you doing?
I never grew up with cats. I had always been surrounded by dogs and believed that if I ever got a pet, it would definitely be a dog. But sometimes, life surprises you. The first time I saw Birdie at an animal shelter in Alabama, he looked small, dirty, and exhausted. But there was something special in his eyes. He had been in several homes before, but always ended up back at the shelter.
What are you doing? No lights? Are you messing with my duvet cover? Sir?
I didn't know why, but the moment I picked him up, I felt an instant connection. From that day forward, our lives changed forever. One of Birdie's most unique traits is his endless chatter. It's not just regular meowing. He makes chirping sounds like a bird, and even changes his tone as if he's expressing emotions.
What was that noise? Ew.
The funniest thing, he loves talking to the birds outside the window. Sometimes I think they actually understand each other, but Birdie isn't just talkative, he's also a master of games. One of his favorite activities is hiding his toys in the most impossible places and then trying to get them back.
Oh, look. I thought you'd be a little bit sweet. Yeah.
One day, he pushed his tiny ball under the couch and spent hours trying to retrieve it. What amazes me the most is that he never gives up. If a toy is stuck somewhere, he will do whatever it takes to get it back. Another thing Birdie is absolutely obsessed with, boxes.
Hello, Tootie. You look so cute.
I know most cats love boxes, but Birdie takes it to another level. The moment he sees an empty box, he climbs inside and refuses to leave. One day, I brought home a large delivery box, and he instantly claimed it as his new home.
Are you ready to go night-night? No? Are you ready to go bonkers?
I couldn't bring myself to throw it away for weeks because he loved it so much, but he's not all about play. He's also incredibly affectionate. Throughout the day, he follows me around, curious about everything I do.
Hi, Birdie.
Oh, good job. Oh.
At night, he curls up next to me, sometimes at my feet, sometimes in my lap. Occasionally, he makes tiny, sleepy noises and moves his paws as if he's dreaming. Watching him sleep brings me so much peace. Birdie also had a little accident. One day, he unknowingly got his tail caught under a chair, and unfortunately, he lost part of it. But this never changed his personality. He remained just as playful, loving and full of energy as ever. Birdie is not just a pet, he's my best friend. On tough days, he sits beside me and rests his head on my lap, as if to say, I'm here for you, and in that moment, nothing else matters. Since he came into my life, everything has changed. Every morning, I wake up knowing that my little talkative friend will be there to greet me. I can't imagine life without it. If you enjoyed Birdie, sometimes fate hides its brightest gifts in the plainest places. 3 years ago, on Tony's birthday, we stopped at a small shopping center near Atlantic City for bagels. The wind pushed storm clouds low, the air shivering with thunder. A flicker cut across the parking lot, silent, fast, and vanished into a thorny bush. We leaned closer. 2 tiny eyes watched us from the brambles. Not a sound, only breath and rain. Before we go on, hit subscribe to support. Revenues help stray animals. Thanks a lot. Now back to our story.
Hi.
Tony crouched first, whispering promises into the storm. Minutes stretched, she tensed, then melted, and he lifted her free. In that heartbeat, I understood. She was not going back to the bush. She was coming home with us. At the vet, we learned she was healthy. Fear just stitched to her like a temporary coat. Back home, Hazel and Henry greeted her. From day one, Lilith ran on lightning. Bright, stubborn, demanding, circling Tony like gravity. When he took the dogs outside, the house tipped into melodrama. Pacing, cries, side-eye at me, and feather-light nips that said, "Don't you dare forget me." When Tony returned, she posted at the door, swatted a dog, and claimed him again. Tenderness threaded the noise. Henry became her steady mood. They dozed forehead to forehead, purring in one note. Lilith explored everything: cupboards, shelves, the fridge. If boredom glanced her way, she protested, especially in the kitchen. She'd rise on her hind legs, lock eyes with me over the simmering pot, and say, without words, now, no negotiations. At night, as purrs stitched the rooms, I remembered the rain-soaked thorn bush. How could that trembling scrap become the heart that keeps time for our home? I tried to hold her longer, whispering, "Let me love you more, just a little longer." But Lilith speaks a different dialect of love, sometimes sharp, sometimes loud, sometimes a theatrical slap to a dog on her way to Tony's lap. Listen closely, and you hear the sentence beneath every scene. I am here. This is my home. These are my people. Mornings without her calls. Impossible. Evenings without her leap. Unthinkable. The storm gave us a story. Lilith made it a life we retell with laughter, paw prints, and the soft thud of a cat landing exactly where she belongs. If this story made...
Let's go! Come on!
That morning, Eddie did something that stopped me cold. While I was packing my hiking gear, this tiny tabby kitten dragged my hiking boot to the door and sat inside it, staring at me with eyes that seemed to say, "Take me with you." Most cats hide from the unknown. Eddie, he was demanding to face it head on. In that split second, I realized I'd found something extraordinary. A cat who refused to live within 4 walls. The shelter warned me Eddie was difficult. Too energetic, they said. But when I saw him scaling the cage bars like a tiny mountaineer, I knew exactly what he needed. Not a quieter personality, but bigger horizons. That first trail changed everything. While other hikers gasped, seeing a cat on a leash, Eddie strutted past them like he'd been born on these mountain paths. 3 months later, we tackled our first real summit. Halfway up, a storm rolled in. Rain pelted us. Wind howled. Any normal cat would have panicked. Eddie, he pressed against my neck under my jacket, purring like a tiny engine. That purr wasn't fear. It was pure contentment. When the clouds broke, revealing the valley below, Eddie climbed onto my shoulder and surveyed the view like he'd conquered Everest.
Guys! My God! Look how beautiful!
The transformation was remarkable. This wasn't just a cat who tolerated adventure. He craved it. On rest days, he'd pace by the door, meowing at his harness. He memorized our routine. When I touched my backpack, he'd run to his carrier, ready to go. Once, I tried leaving him home for a short hike. I made it 20 minutes before turning back. The trail felt wrong without his bell jingling ahead. Our camping trips became legendary. Eddie developed his own rituals. He'd inspect the tent site, patrol the perimeter like a wilderness guardian. At night, while coyotes howled, he'd sit at the tent entrance, alert but calm, as if saying, "I've got the night watch." By morning, he'd be curled against my sleeping bag, covered in dew but perfectly content. What amazes me most is how Eddie reads the mountains. He knows when to be cautious on ledges, when to wait at stream crossings. Sometimes I swear he understands elevation gain better than some hikers. He even has favorite trails now, pulling harder on his leash. When we approach the trailheads he loves most, people ask if I trained him for this life. Truth? Eddie trained me. He taught me that limitations are often just fears in disguise. Every sunrise we watch together, every mountain stream he drinks from. These moments are treasures I never knew I needed. Now, when I plan trips, I think we, not I. Eddie has earned his place as my co-adventurer. Each adventure adds another chapter to our story, another memory to our collection of conquered peaks. If this story Mo may be small, but in his eyes, the world bends to his paws. From the first moment he stepped into our home, he acted less like a guest and more like a ruler, surveying his new kingdom. His green eyes sparkled with confidence, his tail flicked with precision, and even Henry and Peter, our dogs, seemed to wait for his approval. This cat didn't just arrive, he conquered. Love these adorable pets. Subscribe and let's see how many people love these adorable little ones. If you subscribed, let's go. What makes Mo unforgettable isn't only his size or bravery, but the way he claimed a place in our lives. One afternoon, he appeared in our backyard, and I thought he was lost. When I texted his owner, she revealed they needed to rehome him because of their children's allergies. It felt like destiny. That very evening, Mo walked through our front door as though he had been living with us all along. For 2 months, Mo ruled Henry and Peter with a calm but firm paw. They quickly learned the boundaries, and Mo became their quiet leader. Then came Stanley, young, playful, and determined to win Mo's attention. His endless energy collided with Mo's authority. At first it looked like trouble, but instead, something magical began. Stanley wouldn't give up. He pawed, barked, nudged, and refused to be ignored. And slowly, Mo softened. What began as resistance turned into tolerance, and finally, into a deep bond. Mo would leap from the windowsill just to settle beside Stanley, and Stanley, satisfied at last, would rest his head against Mo. They had found each other, not instantly, but through persistence and trust. Their friendship changed everything. Mo wasn't simply a cat among dogs anymore. He was a true pack member. He chased leaves alongside Henry, raced Peter across the porch, and let Stanley snuggle closer than anyone expected. Sometimes he'd swat at Stanley's wagging tail, half annoyed, half amused, as if to say, "You're ridiculous, but you're mine." Looking back, Mo didn't just adapt, he transformed us. He turned our home into a place where cats and dogs live not in rivalry, but in harmony. Each day with Henry, Peter, Stanley, and Mo is proof that family isn't about who comes first, but about the bonds we choose to nurture. If this story You wouldn't expect a firehouse to have a cat. Sirens scream, metal doors slam, engines roar to life. Hardly a place for something soft and fragile. But one morning, Flame appeared out of the smoke, like he'd always belonged. Thin, dusty, yet bold. He marched across the garage floor as if to say, "I'm home." None of us knew what to do. Stray cats usually vanish at the first step toward them. But Flame stayed, staring straight at us, daring us to turn him away. Before we go on, hit subscribe to support. Revenues help stray animals. Thanks a lot. Now, back to our story. At first, the crew laughed. Firefighters aren't exactly known for being cat people, but Flame didn't care. He inspected every corner of the bays, hopped onto tool benches, brushed against boots still coated in ash. Soon, even the toughest among us gave in. He wasn't a guest, he was the new supervisor. Flame had no fear of chaos. When the sirens wailed and engines thundered past, he sat calmly in the middle of the garage, tail wrapped neatly around his paws, waiting for us to rush out. Hours later, when we dragged ourselves back, exhausted, silent, he would be there at the gate, not meowing, not begging, just quietly present, reminding us that even in the darkest moments, we weren't alone. I'll never forget the first time we tried to bathe him. We expected scratches, claws, maybe disaster. Instead, Flame stepped into the tub, closed his eyes, and purred like he'd been waiting his whole life for warm water and gentle hands. That's when we realized fast. He wasn't ordinary. He claimed the roof of Engine 2 as his throne, watching drills from above like a commander. He stole the chief's chair when no one was looking, earning only a chuckle in return. He even brushed against the ringing firehouse phone, as if to remind us that not every call had to mean danger. Over time, Flame became more than a pet. He was a counselor who never spoke. After the hardest nights, when our faces were heavy with what we'd seen, he'd curl up in someone's lap for 20 quiet minutes. No demands, no fuss, just comfort. And in that silence, something inside us healed. Some joke he's a dog in disguise. He recognizes voices, follows routines, and seems to know exactly when one of us needs him most. Every time I see him sprawled in the sunlight after another long shift, I think, maybe we didn't rescue Flame. Maybe he rescued us, because fate could have left him lost on the streets. Instead, it brought him here, to the beating heart of a firehouse. And in return, he gave us something we didn't even know we needed. A partner who turned a place of noise and fire into a home filled with warmth. If this story...
Woohoo! Who's so fast? Are you so fast, you sweet little buddy? Hi, Bubba.
His back legs didn't work. He couldn't stand, couldn't walk, couldn't do what every other kitten does naturally. But when I found him dragging his tiny body across the floor, refusing to give up, I knew one thing. If he had the will to fight, I had to give him the chance to live. Harper was only 3 weeks old when someone found him abandoned on the streets of Alaska. His hind legs were completely paralyzed. We don't know exactly what happened. Maybe a birth injury, maybe something worse. But whoever had him before decided he wasn't worth keeping. They left him to die, alone, helpless. A tiny kitten who couldn't even crawl properly. I run a shelter for animals with special needs. We take in the ones nobody else wants, the difficult cases, the expensive ones. When Harper arrived, he was so small he fit in the palm of my hand. His little body was cold, weak, barely moving, but his eyes were bright, alert, full of something I recognized immediately: the will to survive. The first few days were critical, feeding every 2 hours, keeping him warm, monitoring his breathing. His paralyzed legs meant he couldn't position himself properly, so I had to bottle feed him carefully. Every moment felt fragile, like he might slip away if I looked away for even a second. But Harper was stronger than he looked. As he grew, I watched him figure out his own body. He couldn't use his back legs, but he learned to pull himself forward with his front paws, dragging his body across the floor, determined to explore, to move, to be independent. This tiny creature dealt the worst hand possible, refusing to accept limitations. That's when I decided to try the wheelchair. I researched, consulted with vets, and finally ordered a custom cart designed for kittens. When it arrived, I was nervous. What if Harper hated it? What if it scared him? I started slowly. First, just the harness for a few minutes at a time. Then I attached the wheels, but didn't make him move. I wanted him to investigate on his own terms. I don't believe in forcing animals through fear. It had to be his choice. The breakthrough came on day 5. I attached the full wheelchair and placed Harper on the floor. He sat there for a moment, confused, wiggling slightly. Then something clicked. He pushed forward with his front legs, and suddenly he was moving, rolling. His back legs lifted off the ground, supported by the wheels, and for the first time in his life, Harper could move freely. The transformation was instant. Within a week, he was racing through the house like a tornado. I nicknamed him the energetic tornado of love because that's exactly what he became. He'd zoom from room to room, jump onto furniture, explore every corner. The wheelchair didn't slow him down. It set him free. But with that freedom came new challenges. Harper loves to jump. Couches, windowsills, tables, anything he can reach. The problem is, he can't land safely, so I've covered every surface in my house with blankets and pillows. My living room looks like a padded playroom, but it's worth it. There's also the medical side. Harper has incontinence, which means he can't go to the bathroom on his own. 3 times a day, I have to manually stimulate him. It's not pleasant for either of us, but he's incredibly patient. He lies there quietly, trusting me completely. That trust means everything to me. For 4 years, Harper had a companion who made everything easier. Cinder, my husky, adopted him the moment he arrived. She'd lie next to him for hours, keeping him warm. She became his protector, his mother, his best friend. They were inseparable. When Cinder passed away 2 years ago, Harper changed. He became quieter, more attached to me. Now, every night, he climbs onto my chest and purrs softly until he falls asleep. It's like he needs that reassurance that he's not alone, that he's still loved, that this is still home. People ask me all the time if it's worth it. The expense, the time, the constant care. They see the wheelchair, the diapers, the daily routines, and they wonder why I don't just choose easier animals. But when I look at Harper racing through the house, playing with toys, demanding attention, living fully despite everything stacked against him, I know the answer. He didn't ask for this life. He didn't choose to be paralyzed, to be abandoned, to need help with basic functions. But he chose to keep fighting, and if he can do that, I can do everything in my power to make sure his life is good, not just bearable, but genuinely good, full of love, adventure, and joy. Harper is 6 years old now. He's healthy, happy, and completely unaware that he's different from other cats. To him, the wheelchair is normal. It's just part of who he is. And watching him live so fearlessly reminds me every single day why I do this work. Because every life matters. Every animal deserves a chance. And sometimes, all it takes is someone willing to say yes when everyone else says no.
You do this every day? Yeah. Why? Because I love it.
Tom Tom was not an ordinary cat. From the moment he appeared at the farm, something about him demanded attention. He was thin, cautious, and silent, moving like a shadow across the grass. But his eyes, bright, sharp, and unafraid, told a story of survival. Nobody expected that this quiet stray would soon take on the strangest role anyone had ever seen, becoming the shepherd of sheep. When Tom Tom first wandered close to the pasture, he didn't know what to expect. He had never lived with humans and had never felt the comfort of safety. The sheep stood in groups, chewing slowly, their wool like clouds in the field. They noticed him but didn't chase him away. For Tom Tom, that was new. For the first time, he felt he might belong. At the beginning, Tom Tom stayed on the edges. He studied the flock carefully, observing who led, who followed, and how the lambs stumbled after their mothers. Slowly, he stepped closer. To everyone's surprise, the lambs started following him. They trotted after his striped tail as if he were their leader. The sight was both funny and heartwarming. A tiny cat guiding animals 10 times his size. Of course, Tom Tom was still a cat. Sometimes his playful instincts took over. He would leap onto a sheep's back or swipe gently at an ear. We had to remind him to be gentle, to respect his new friends. But he learned quickly. Soon he discovered that his role was not just about play, it was about protection. Tom Tom began to watch the flock with serious eyes. From the fence post, from a tree branch, or from the tall grass, he always kept guard.
Nah, look at me Tom Tom. It's a while since we did a cat on the bonnet.
If something unusual happened, a sudden noise, a dog barking in the distance, he reacted instantly, sprinting toward the sound as if to warn everyone, I'm here, don't be afraid. The mother sheep seemed to trust him most of all. They would leave their lambs near Tom Tom while they grazed, and he would lie beside the little ones with a look of responsibility far beyond his size. It almost seemed as if he knew the lambs depended on him. And when the mothers returned, they often touched noses with him, as if in silent thanks. Day by day, Tom Tom transformed. He no longer looked like a stray searching for scraps. He looked like a guardian with a purpose. He walked beside the flock in the morning sun, curled in the hay with them at night, and even played among them without ever being chased away. The sheep accepted him, not as a guest, but as one of their own. Watching Tom Tom now, it's hard to believe he was once alone. He found more than food and shelter. He found a family, and in return, he gave them something no one expected. The flock had always needed a protector, but instead of a sheepdog, they found their shepherd in a striped little cat named Tom Tom. If this story broke... This is the story of how two black cats, Bart and Milhouse, turned my world upside down. They didn't just become pets, they became family. Each one brought something special into my life. Funny enough, I always thought of myself as a dog person. But life had different plans. One day, I decided to adopt a cat. I contacted East Country Animal Rescue in San Diego and told them,
Are you stuck? Are you stuck, baby?
I'm looking for a cat that nobody wants. A few days later, they called back with an idea. Two black brothers, Bart and Milhouse. They explained that black cats are often overlooked. The moment I saw their photos, I knew they were meant to stay together. When we first got home, everything was new and strange for them. Bart immediately began exploring, while Milhouse was more cautious. That first night, they hid under the same blanket with their little heads peeking out. In that moment, I knew they trusted me. Bart is pure energy and curiosity. Every morning, I find him sitting on the windowsill, watching birds with intense focus. One of his funniest habits is his little jump greetings. He hops up and down excitedly as if to say, "Hi." He also loves the camera. Somehow, he always manages to pose perfectly when I take pictures. Milhouse, on the other hand, is the calm, soulful one. He's the kind of cat that sits quietly beside you, offering silent companionship. He has this adorable way of gently tapping your shoulder when he wants attention. That little touch always makes my heart melt. Together, they're an unstoppable team. Bart usually starts the games, while Milhouse knows how to bring them to a perfect end. Their playtime turns the whole house into a playground. Rugs, chairs, and boxes become part of their grand adventure. When it's mealtime, they're surprisingly well behaved. Bart rushes to the bowl while Milhouse patiently waits. The love between these two brothers is undeniable. Sometimes it's a soft gaze. Other times, it's a gentle grooming session. Even nail trimming time feels like a shared experience. One watches curiously, while the other gets his turn, tilting his head as if to ask, "Is everything okay?" They've taught me so much about love, patience, and how even the smallest moments can bring joy. Their unique quirks brighten my day, whether it's Bart bouncing around or Milhouse sitting quietly by my side. I used to think of myself as just a dog person. But Bart and Milhouse have shown me that cats are just as loving and intelligent. They became an irreplaceable part of my life.